All right, good morning, everybody. So, we're going to continue our discussion about warranties. Um, I'm looking at a Peterbilt, but I used to run Freightliner. And I know a couple of guys at Crete who are owner operators who are running their Freightliners with no warranty. And I've run an old Freightliner without a warranty. And it's a big risk. The risk is expensive breakdown. Could be engine, could be after treatment system, could be terribly expensive uh, for that type of repair. And with a truck that has high mileage, typically what happens is they buy the truck from Crete with about 400,000 miles with the Daimler EN4 warranty, which is great. I mean, that's highly recommended for a rookie owner operator. That's a great program. Um, you got to look at the date and service of the truck, which is part of the VIN. If you look on the door frame of the cab, you'll find your VIN information. Sometimes they call it like boilerplate information. Find the VIN info, and it'll say DIS or date in service, and then the clock starts ticking from there. So typically, the Daimler warranty is 7 years or 750,000 miles, whichever comes first, from date in service, DIS, which is the date on that sticker in your door frame with your VIN. So check that out. And then what happens to many owner operators at Crete with their Freightliner is that they haven't driven it for 3 years or owned it for 3 years, and the warranty is already expired. Because typically the truck that they bought is already 4 years old, and depending on what month of the year, that 3 years after that, but the warranty's expired because it's reached a 7 year point, and you never got it up to 750,000 miles because the 7 year aspect of it came before 750,000 miles. It's like, well, I really wanted to keep it to 750,000 miles. What do? Um, you can run without the warranty, take your chances. A lot of guys do that. They're like, look, I just got to take my chances. Um, but, these repairs could be very, very overwhelming for a rookie owner operator. I would suggest instead that you look at that NTP warranty, National Truck Protection. I'll put a link in the description where we're done. But that's what Peterbilt's recommending when their 5 year, 500,000 mile warranty expires. And if it's good enough for Peterbilt, I'm sure it's good enough for Freightliner. Now, it's kind of like insurance, so there's a deductible. And I'm pretty sure the higher mileage your truck is, the higher that plan's going to be. So if your truck is already at 700,000 miles, it's going to be quite expensive to buy that NTP, National Truck Protection Plan. But let's say you want to hold on to your truck for one more year. Just squeeze one more year out of it. It may be worth it, to spend several thousand or even $10,000 for the National Truck Protection to run one more year out of that truck that's probably fully paid for. Could you afford it? Absolutely, you could afford it. You can afford to pay that. Pay for the National Truck Protection, or you're going to pay out of pocket for the breakdown. What would you rather do? It's about managing risk. If the policy is $10,000, but you're trying to manage the risk of a blown engine, which could be in excess of $20,000, or a one-box failure, which again would be in excess of $20,000. Um, is it worth the $10,000 policy? I would lean towards yes. It would be better to have that than not have it, even if it did cost upwards of $10,000 for just 1 year. It it would help you manage the risk. You may never, you may be lucky and get through that year without any significant breakdowns. But on the other hand, all it takes is one breakdown for $20,000, you'd be kicking yourself in the butt for not picking up that $10,000 NTP plan. So I've never used NTP, but Peterbilt's recommending it, so I pass that on to other owner operators who are running out of warranty, and you're worried about the risk of running out of warranty. You want to hold on to an older truck, this may be the way to go. I drove my first truck, the 2012 Freightliner, up to 1.2 million miles with no warranty. I never had a warranty. From the day I bought it with 500,000 miles, I put on that truck, never had a warranty. I always paid out of pocket. Now, it didn't need a new engine, but I did have to put in a new one box in it. But I ended up paying out of pocket for all those repairs. But back then, trucks didn't come with warranties. And these third-party aftermarket warranty programs were no good. So it was, it's part of the deal of being an owner-operator was you're going to pay out of the pocket. Well, over the years, things have changed. Now, manufacturers have these warranties, which is great for the owner-operator. I mean, it really kind of saved your ass when they came out with these warranties. Daimler warranty, 10 years, about 5 years, 500,000. That's that's excellent. But what do you do when your warranty expires? Well, Peterbilt's recommending you go with that NTP, National Truck Protection. When I pick up my new truck, the Peterbilt 579, it's a 2022, has 355,000 miles, still under warranty for another year and 3 months. Warranty expires in January of 2027. Truck will be approaching 2,000 miles. I probably still want to drive it for at least one more year. So I'm going to pick up that National Truck Protection Warranty and then try that for a year. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. That warranty is so vital to the success of your business. I wouldn't recommend running a truck without a warranty. In the past, when I've done videos, I often recommend guys sell their trucks when the warranty expires because the risk goes through the roof. But if you're at 650,000 miles on your Freightliner and the warranty expires, you may want to keep it. You may want to drive it for another year or 2 years. It's like, okay, well, you can run, at your own risk, pay out of pocket, or you may want to look into this National Truck Protection NTP plan that Peterbilt is recommending for their trucks. So I'll just throw that out there because I know at least 2 guys right now with older Cascadias that don't have a warranty and they're still running, and they plan on keep running for probably the next 6 months to a year. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Go watching. We'll see you on the internet.